thing that comes to mind are the horrors of Nazi extermination camps, like Auschwitz and Treblinka, where millions of European Jews were systematically murdered in specially designed gas chambers and crematoria. However, there are many more stages and elements to the Holocaust than just the Nazi death camps. In fact, by the time the first death camps became operational in late 1941, the Holocaust had already been occurring for at least 3 years, and an estimated 2 to 4 million people had already been killed in what is referred to by historians as the Holocaust by bullet. Since the outbreak of World War II in 1939, the Nazis had been killing not only Jews, but other ethnic groups deemed as subhumans, like Poles and Slavs in Nazi-occupied territories east of Germany. In fact, the Nazis had special SS paramilitary units, known as Einsatzgruppen, that worked alongside Orpo police battalions and auxiliary police groups, known as Schutzmannschaft, to shoot hundreds to thousands of people in mass killings behind front lines. The Schutzmannschaft were especially despised by occupied populations, as the groups were formed out of Nazi collaborators from the native population, effectively meaning that members of a Nazi-occupied community would help the Nazis murder their own community. A particularly well-known mass killing of innocent civilians at the hands of the Nazis was the Katyn massacre in 1943, where the infamous SS Dirlewanger Brigade, composed primarily of convicted criminals conscripted into the Waffen-SS, alongside Nazi collaborators, killed almost the entire population of the village of Katyn.
The growing controversy about mandatory vaccinations, and I want to see if Americans are willing to arrest those others who refuse to take this coronavirus vaccine. We support mandating the vaccine. A lot of people still refusing to take it, and they're putting the rest of us at risk. So we're going to start mandating the vaccine or start arresting these anti-vaxxers if they're not going to follow the rules. Birth date and a signature. I don't want to hear any of this my body, my choice stuff in today's New World Order. We're gonna put things right.
Absolutely. We all need that.
Thank you. So we're going to start having them arrested if they refuse.
I agree.
Print, birth date, signature to incarcerate the anti-vaxxers. I'm not sure what country they think they're living in.
No one will be able to be armed. We will take all weapons.
It was a human drama with emotions and tensions running high. Patty Connie is still trying to recover physically and emotionally.
They really did a number on me.
From the day police forced her from her home.
It was traumatic. All of a sudden, they were banging on the front door, the side door, and the back door. And they said, "Let us in."
Patty tried to explain. She was on dry land, she had plenty of food and water, and didn't want to abandon her dogs. But it didn't matter.
If you see 6 or 8 police that look like linebackers pushing you in a corner, you're in shock. I'm saying, look at all my food. I got plenty of food. They kept pushing me back, and ended up like this.
Then, Patty showed them a small revolver she was carefully holding in the palm of her hand. A camera crew was there to capture what unfolded next.
I said, "It's not even loaded." And I dropped it on the floor.
You got a gun, look.
Well, they punched me in the face. Look at my black and blue marks. Look at what they did to me. They dragged me out of here. I really thought they were going to kill me. I really did.
We were coming back across the lake is when we got stopped by Coast Guard and St. Tammany Sheriff's Department and the National Guard by gunpoint.
We had identification. We were coming back from a house that we were taking the weapons out of so criminals wouldn't break in and steal them. And we've had policemen tell us that that's what they wanted us to do, but not the sheriff in St. Tammany. They just wanted to confiscate them from us.
We felt like criminals at the time when they come up to us with M16s or AR-15s, whatever it was, but there were 4 of them with rifles and holding on us with our hands in the air until they got in our boat.
So they got on the boat and they asked us, "Do you have any loaded weapons?" Yes, we do. They're in the 2 back compartments. Wayne went to show him where the gun was. And he screams, "Don't touch it. Don't even move. I'll get it."
I felt like it was un-American and then we had been violated when they, took. Like I say, we were shell-shocked. We were just sitting around looking at each other and said, "We just got our guns taken away from us."
They took them. And they didn't have a right to take them. They didn't have a reason to take them. That was the thing. We did nothing wrong. But they took them anyway. He said, "Be thankful we're taking your guns here." Why should I be thankful? Well, if they catch you with them on land, they're going to take you straight to jail.
We live in proof that all they have to do is say, "Look, this is the law."
You had that feeling that you were violated. They took something from you. They stole something from you. That's the only way to put it. They took something that they didn't have a right to take.
City and our borders under the sustained threat of Delta. Tonight, the Premier is taking matters into her own hands.
Construction already beginning on a dedicated regional quarantine facility without the support of the federal government.
They may be in this together, but they're doing it alone.
It's time for the politics to end. The facility will be built. It will be a purpose-built facility.
Paid for by Toowoomba's Wagner family and run by the state government.
This could have been built by now. I mean, we've got to get on with this. It is a race.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us.
You should know there is a virus here. It kills people, and the only way we prevent it is to get vaccinated, to wear masks, to do social distancing, washing your hands all the time, and not just to think about, well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom.
On the remedy. So we have to prepare for a more angry world. And how to prepare? It means to take the necessary action. I just see the need for such a dialogue, and I see the need for action. I see the need for a great reset.
This is the plan that I have repeatedly warned about. To take the tools of oppression used to tackle the coronavirus and use them all, lockdowns, forced business closures, exclusion zones, isolation. We heard Angela Marsden earlier, businesses shut down, isolation at home, all of that, all of those measures, including destroying private property rights and private income in order to tackle the climate crisis.
We have a unique but rapidly shrinking window of opportunity to learn lessons and reset ourselves on a more sustainable path. It is an opportunity we have never had before and may never have again. So we must use all the levers we have at our disposal, knowing that each and every one of us has a vital role to play.
The Great Reset is a welcome recognition that this human tragedy must be a wake-up call. It is imperative that we reimagine, rebuild, redesign, reinvigorate, and rebalance our world. Rebalancing investment, harnessing science and technology, and advancing the transition to net zero emissions, all elements of the Great Reset, are fundamental to building the future we need.
For these two FDA officials to go on the record with grave doubts, and their perspective is certainly backed by the unimpressive booster experience in Israel, introduces a major break in the narrative that the experts in charge deserve our trust and deference. No, the experts in charge are overridden by the politicians in charge. This has nothing to do with science. None of this has ever had anything to do with science, and I hope that we're starting to realize that. And I just wonder, like what is it going to take for just the average person to wake up when they understand that the government is now pursuing medical mandates based not on the advice of doctors, not on the advice of the scientists who we've entrusted with the authority to make these sorts of decisions, but based on their own political games. Like, is that not enough to wake people up? I don't know. Apparently not. Apparently not. Apparently sometimes it takes 10 months of red flags for people to start waking up. As she writes, Washington State Department of Health is interviewing candidates come September 21st to work at their new isolation and quarantine facilities. So yes, folks, you've seen Australia now ready for it to arrive. Get ready for it to arrive on a street and in a town near you. Here's the post at governmentjobs.com. Washington State Department of Health isolation and quarantine strike team consultants. There's the list.